Hi, I'm Michael Croker, and this is Park Life. I've worked in the Australian theme park industry for a little over 30 years, and in this podcast series, I spend time in conversation with the people inside the business of making memories. Thanks for joining me. I hope you can subscribe, rate, and review. Enjoy the ride. In this episode of Park Life, I get to sit with the amazing Mal Wood. Mal has been a professional musician for a little over 30 years. He has shared the stage with everybody from Guy Sebastian to Jessica Mauboy and Jerry Lewis, to name just a few. He began working at Warner Brothers Movie World in its early years after opening, before moving more into his own musical career. And he has since gone on to become a guest favourite across both SeaWorld and Movie World as a roved musician and vocalist. He's a gifted artist, a man of real character and humanity, and I know you're going to enjoy getting to know Mal Wood. Where do we begin with you? Because you've had a very colourful career, and we'll get to, I think, what's a really important part of your story, which is performance and music and how that comes into the parks and transforms the parks. But can we go back and talk about your theme park career at Movie World back in the day? Did you join that part of the park's story at its opening? When did you come into the picture?
Almost. I almost became a stunt actor.
Right.
Working in retail with one of the future stunt coordinators. And he said, come down. We did a bit of martial art training together, and he said, come down for the auditions. You'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. Went down to the auditions, filled out the form. You know, it was a bit of indemnity thing. Well, if something happens to you, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I went, great. So I'm sitting down there with my girlfriend at the time or whatever, and waiting. This guy busts out with his nose everywhere. And it was just like a scene out of ER, you know, they did a fight scene, you know, training the fight scene, and he looked absolutely pummeled. And he ran past, going, oh, my nose, and went, oh, no, I don't think this is really for me. I'm not, you know. So I left, and I called him back a bit later that afternoon. He goes, why did you tell me you're there? You could have come through, and would have got you in the stunt scenes and drive the cars. I went, no, man, this guy got nobbled. And he goes, no, he's all right. And I went, no, he wasn't. No, he didn't make the cut.
What show was that? Was that Police Academy stunt show?
I'm not too sure. It was actually the initial stunt auditions for...
Oh, I see.
When the theme park came
Got
together.
It. Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, I thought I was pretty fit, and I thought I was pretty tough, and I realised I wasn't that tough. And I went, nah, I'll go back to retail. And then job came up, and auditions came up in '93 for a roving band to go through the park.
Right.
And then I went to the auditions and got cut after cut after cut after cut, and got through, keep going through the next stage. It was almost like, wow, I keep going to the next room, there's less people. And then I had to dance, and all these musicians didn't want to dance. I thought, I can dance, I've trained in dance, I'll dance as much as you want. I kept dancing and made people laugh. It was a really relaxing experience with the audition. And then someone said, play your party piece, and I played a party piece. And
played it with what? Like what when you say you played a party piece?
Oh, party with the trumpet.
With the trumpet.
So then I realised I'd spent 20 years playing the trumpet. Maybe
Right.
I should do that rather than... I'm really glad I didn't have an ego to go into the stunt audition, think, oh, the guy with the busted nose everywhere running on the floor. that's just makeup. It was pretty thick.
Yeah.
And then do the music. And then I felt really at home in the studios. That was not knowing that I'd be back doing other things in the studios. And then they brought up a choreographer from Sydney who was really hard and tight on the dance moves. And and once again, a lot of people don't understand the dance speak. And then I just felt like that was a natural progression. The next thing I know, it's that it's sort of training day one, and we're training for 8 different shows a day.
Right.
Across the park.
And this is pre-park opening, or the park had opened?
Park had opened.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think they'd already been through a couple of different marching band sort of scenarios,
Yeah.
a few different entertainment things, and this one was going to have lots of light and colour and a James Bond theme, a Blues Brothers theme,
Right.
and so I had to then being a bit tall and skinny, so he was given a job as Elwood. And
Elwood Blues.
And I hadn't seen the Blues Brothers.
Right.
But watching what other guys did at the audition, went, okay, I have to kind of do that type of thing, American accent, I have to learn these songs.
Yeah.
There's no internet to learn the songs. I had to go and
Yeah.
get the album, had to go and listen to that and go, this shit's crazy. And then I watched the film and went, whoa, that's even crazier. And then it became home. And then I was swing. So actually, I think I worked 30 something days straight across Christmas
Right.
because I had to swing for the 2 other trumpets.
Yeah.
And then I swung for the trombone. Then I had to do Jake one day. I had to strap a pillow to me. And then I had to sort of crouch down because
Do
Elwood
the
was...
Belushi
Yeah,
character,
I had to do that character and to do a couple of days because there was no one else. And I was keen. I was waiting by the phone to come in. And then if I look back in hindsight, then you know that you're doing the right thing. When you're not going, I can't wait for the day off. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to go and get to the gym. I'm going to get a tan.
Do you get your nails done often?
Yeah, but not here.
Mm-hmm. They look good.
You reckon? I've still got 9 of them.
How long did you spend performing?
About, I don't know, in the mirror. I think it was like 8 20-minute shows across the day.
Okay, right.
So we played as guests came in, and then we played as guests were leaving. But I did get in trouble from the head of maintenance once because I kept jumping in the fountain.
And what was that for? Just an impulsive thing to...
Yeah, the audience were driving it. It was like this, what's the next, how do you make this even, you're playing Wipeout, so I thought a Wipeout would be me, way before people jumped the silly salmon thing, jumping in water and stuff, I'd jump in the fountain and immerse myself and come out triumphant and play a note on the trumpet and top of the fountain. The crowd loves it.
This is the fountain at Movie World.
Yeah, at the front gate.
The front arch,
and then then I got a couple of notes from the head of grounds maintenance that he didn't appreciate his water sprinkler pipes being kicked over and stuff, and he had alternative ways of communicating with me.
If you go back and look at music obviously has played a big part of your in your life. If we can go right back, when you were growing up, Dad was in music too, right?
Yep. So the first time I hit, so my theme park career would have started when Dreamworld opened, when Dad would have played at Dreamworld as a casual musician in a band.
Wow.
And I would have carried one of his trumpet cases through, or a banjo case.
That's great.
And we just walk past security and he'd just say, my son's coming in today. Yeah, no worries, mate. And he'd go to work and I'd go and check out the Bushranger show and I'd go on the water slides and not knowing, it's interesting going back that far, not knowing, but that was kind of like my training. Even just watching, the Kenny Koala or watching the shows and the actors that were happening around it, or that feeling of being in a theme park, it felt like home. So like I was in this, it didn't make, it's kind of really interesting. And then going on a ride, I wasn't a huge ride guy, but I just like watching people.
It's great that a life in music can open up doors into this whole other industry and give you this other career. It obviously, I didn't realise it did that for your dad as well, but your dad had been a working professional musician for some time, hadn't he? Yeah,
so he was always part-time for him. So to make a sustainable income from music was too haphazard. So he was an architectural draftsman. But he was playing 3 or 4 nights a week and on weekends. But as I say to my mum, I never noticed him missing. I know you go at night time, I'd get his gear in the car, it'd smell of smoke, and unpack his guitars and his amps and be old enough to carry the amp by myself up the stairs. And then, I guess music was always a part-time love for him.
But it's interesting, sorry to cut your flow, but for someone to have that background of the engineering and the architecture, because I imagine it's very much a one part of the brain thing. It's all about processes and it's all about routine and it's regimented. And then you've got this other part of the brain, which is the music and expression, and it's creative.
And the unknown.
Yeah.
When you're playing in a theme park setting, not every, you could have a tour group of 100 international guests, but each one is different. But there's certain things that they'll adjust to. There's certain songs that you will connect with. And you'll have 100 people singing, if that's the vibe. Each one is different. So music is, it is kind of like, in some ways, you need to have the technique, you need to practice, you have some skill set.
Yes.
But then you need to have that empathy for people. And I think that's what I got from my dad. When I'd say to him, the next morning after a gig, I'd say, how's the gig last night? He goes, pretty much 10 out of 10 times he'd say, I met some really nice people. And I thought, well, so what do you mean meet nice people? It's not just about the gig, it's not just about the money. It's this connection to people, and music's a medium.
Do you think music's a healer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just saw on the weekend playing at the casino, dressed as a mariachi musician.
Yeah.
And the first call, we walk up the stairs from the dressing room, the first thing we run into, there's two old ladies, one with a little walker, and she must be 90, 100 knot out. And I walked up and said, what would you like to hear? And they looked at, this massive mariachi hat going in this jacket. And she says, Danny Boy. This little old voice. I said, you'd like to hear Danny Boy? Now, technically, that's not in my charter to play mariachi songs like Danny Boy. If I try to play like a mariachi, I'm going to hurt the music. A great bit of advice someone said to me, don't hurt the music.
Great line.
Don't hurt it. So Danny Boy became it. And the other two guys get it. And we played this beautiful tempo, and it was just me and her.
Yeah.
On the walker, looking at me, coming out from the casino. It's the last thing she sees. And it was hard because that was my dad's favourite song. That's kind of my go-to. So I thought, okay, Mum, I'm stuck here. This is the real emotion. And it's the first song of a 4-hour call. And I've got make or break. And I thought, oh man, if I go too far in, I'm going to get lost in my emotions and my sentiment of my dad and all these other things, which is, you're susceptible when you're playing music. That can happen. Yeah. When you just turn into goo and it goes quiet. Am I playing or what am I saying? It's those emotions get to you, and then suddenly there's this little old lady just piercing eyes at me, and I just give her the best version of Danny Boy I had. And then I had my dad with me, but I wasn't accessing. I was feeling the sadness, but it was actually more the joy of music to give to her, and the little touch on the hand from her walker, the energy flow, and what it did to the people watching that.
Yes.
To the big burly security guards of watching that. The guys in the band played beautifully. Yeah. And her younger, maybe a sibling, walking out. And then the next song, as they left, was Amazing Grace. And I've got to play my mariachi music. I'm booked to play mariachi. No, I don't. I'm here with these humans. And then the crowd built a little bit more. You be careful, the exit points, entry points, you're not blocking anything or the stuff going through your brain. Let's move a little bit this way. A lovely group of probably guests from the Philippines heard Amazing Grace. They started singing. So I had a choir.
Wow. 3
mariachi guys and a choir with this lady singing the best she could, pretty much out of tune, of Amazing Grace. And suddenly there's 50 people connecting, and then there was kids involved, and then it went straight into Happy New Year, clap your hands. And then I thought, I've got to say something Mexican, shake your maracas.
That's a hell of a 3-punch opener to a set. You go Danny Boy, Amazing Grace, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
That's it. And that's before we even got a mariachi song out.
Yeah.
And the job was almost done. We could have walked away then. The vibe was there. Everyone felt it. People sitting in the restaurants watch. People came out from the restaurants to be a part of that.
That's real magic, isn't it?
That's
what is it, do you think? It's a big question, I know, but what is it, you've had a life in music, what is it about music that does that to people? It has its own, it's a universal language, isn't it? And it can...
Absolutely.
What you're describing there is a universal language that draws people in and connects people, even strangers, even for a few minutes. What is it do you think? Is it the way notes sit around each other that we respond to? What do you think perhaps is the secret juice with music?
I think it's one of the first things we hear as a child. We hear in the womb, maybe. Whether it be, someone's, not generic songs, but songs that are played with passion and people are watching, they give off an energy and a vibe. Music's vibration.
You're right.
Now, and no disrespect to contemporary forms of music delivery, but there's no way a recording could have done that. If someone just came up and put a tape player, how old's that? Put a USB stick into a DJ console and walked away. Do you think we'd have 50? No. Would there be 50 people all going, like warming their hands on this little mechanical piece of something, going, wow, I already feel that? Or that human that walked up and said, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
What can we play for you today?
Yeah. And
then they look at you as like, so the fact that you made the effort to say hi, how are you? What can we play for you today? And even if they say things like, oh, you wouldn't know what I know, which is great, because the block is okay, cool, I'll just push that one to the side because I love that. Yeah. I don't go, you'd be surprised what I can play, I can play. No, I can't play anything. a little grain of sand flittering through on the beach. I said, oh, look, we even play songs that you don't like. And then they're mine. And then the other guy, and then the couple, this older couple, you know, a little bit later in the day said, I'll play something else. You wouldn't know anything our age. And I went, I know everything about your age. In fact, I love every song probably written your age. And I reckon you'd like some Dean Martin. We love Dean Martin. Of course you do.
Yeah.
I love Dean Martin. 2, 3. When marimba rhythms start to sway. Great, I'm back in my Mexican.
Yeah. But maybe to what you were talking about before, we're sung to as children too, right?
And it's sung so innocently and beautifully.
Parents will sing to kids, and now that you say it, it makes sense to me. You know, you grow up with extended family singing to you as a baby. There's nursery rhymes, and you're hearing melodies.
You go to kindy, someone sings to you, and you know what? Like
that makes a lot of sense.
Sing in cars, you know, they just sing stuff.
Yeah.
And there's no filter because there's no expectation to sing in tune or sing all the words properly, or there's none of this grown-up stuff that kids get institutionalised. You just sing for the joy of singing. And if you go to Indigenous cultures, whether it be, you know, First Nation Australia, especially in Africa, Middle East and Asia, singing was part of the culture.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how we communicated before maybe language took over. Our sound, if it was a or a panicky sound, could represent a threat. So it became a life principle. I also heard a program the other day about bird calls. People would listen to the way the birds spoke, the birds sang, because that could mean the weather's changing. There's fish in the ocean. There's another tribe coming. We've got to get out of here, or something's going on. So we can reactionary to sound.
Even whales have songs. Now that I hear you talking, you know,
Yeah,
the
like
whale
song, like
will travel for Let's have 20 more minutes of that. Keep going.
Do you know what I just said then?
We've got 19 minutes and 25 seconds to go. Let's keep. I think we're done.
Was that the wrong whale? was that not the right?
I don't know. That sounded a little bit like the blue whale mating call.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because he'd been on. Whales have got Tinder.
I'm not. It's called Finder.
Oh!
Hey, listen. Just to move on. There is a transcendent quality. You can have that. There's a transcendent quality to music, and it is a unifier. And I think, and we've talked about this before many times, when we've had you and your team of fellow musicians perform and work across SeaWorld or Warner Brothers Movie World, that is exactly what happens. We probably get more guest feedback in the positive about you.
Wow, that's lovely.
Than any other single performer we've ever had move across the parks, and it's usually the same kind of feedback. You know, would you please pass on that the man that was out there with his trumpet, or he was performing this song to my child, and it made our day, and it comes through again and again. And then you kind of ask, well, what is coming through there really? You know, and people aren't writing in saying, "Oh, I love the way that he controlled the melody on."
Did you hear the way he played those beautiful
Little
notes?
Spanish Flea?
Little. We always say little.
Is it Little Spanish Flea?
Am I scratching?
I'm not sure. But what's coming through is those comments are driven by, I connected. I had a moment.
Yes, there was a moment.
I had a human connection. And even if it's not something people are consciously saying that they're after, I think there's an unconscious desire to connect. And music seems to be a great gateway to that.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It breaks down all barriers.
Yes.
And if I'm dressed as and I feel, you know, somehow guiltily privileged, I can dress up as a toy soldier at Christmas time at Movie World. And I can move freely amongst anybody.
An ocean of people. Yeah.
And they're all coming with they all want a good time. They all want to be here. And there's that little light up with the character. Because, you know, with the toy soldier costume, I'm like 6'5", 6'6". So I'm quite a tall character. And it's the eyes, you know, the gateway to the soul. Yeah. And if I'm playing too loud, and if I'm thinking about other things, it doesn't happen. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And even if they don't stop and connect, there's that little look, the flicker, the wave.
Yeah.
And if the kids are reactionary, they feel it. They feel the magic. And that transfers down the line to the parents who feel the magic. One of the best compliments I got about the music is when I suggested a family that were looking a bit disorientated, not knowing where to go, what to do. It was all too much. They just got out of the car, 5 or 6 of them. And I said, one of the best things you can do is go and get an ice cream. I've got 2 friends, Ben and Jerry, and they're going to take damn good care of you. And
We should just have a disclaimer, they're not sponsors of the podcast.
Not at all, not yet.
But we'll give them that free moment in good faith.
1 scoop or 2.
I'll have 2.
You want the nuts on top?
I beg your pardon? Could you please keep going?
No, next.
Yeah.
Next. They came back and thanked me later that night. Thanks, man. That ice cream idea.
Oh, they did?
Everyone had an ice cream. Now, no one can argue when they've got an ice cream. I've never seen a fight break out in an ice cream parlour yet.
That's right.
Only at a bar, but suddenly they had an ice cream. It was just an diversional therapy of going, I love this ice cream. In fact, I've been here with my kids and maybe someone told me to get an ice cream. I just went, ice cream. And then you sit down and have the ice cream, and then by that stage you've worked out where you're going on the map, everyone's cool, everyone's got a seat for the parade. You follow this little bit of a hack for White Christmas.
Yeah.
And they've had the best night ever. And there's an ice cream. And give someone a job in the ice cream parlour, someone to make the ice cream, and it felt good. But and that had nothing really to do with the music.
No.
But because I had a trumpet, I'm dressed as a toy soldier, it's White Christmas. Here's the magic of Christmas for you.
You're demonstrating presence too, I think, when you're in those moments. You understand that the music is almost and I mean this respectfully, it's almost a secondary aspect of it, right? But it's a tool to creating connection. And if you're present as you are, you can instinctively and intuitively feel there's a moment here to be created. I'll use my music as the doorway.
It's a medium, it's a language.
But the very first thing that's happening is you're being present and sensing in real time these opportunities are coming up around you to create moments with people. I've seen you do it with children particularly. What do you think it is with kids? There's perhaps an openness and a readiness that the kids can more easily open up to you, do you find? And then the parents come in behind? What do you find?
Sometimes the parents will bring the kid and like, quick, entertain my kid. The kid's screaming.
Right.
It's peaking and doesn't want to look at a 6'6" dude with a trumpet wanting to play Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
It wants out. So you have to somehow, that's a tricky one. That's an extreme to step back, read it a bit more, try to connect with the kid. And it's an energy thing. It's not what I say, it's what I don't say. I'm not going to have the loud drums beating it. You will pull it down. I might even sit on the ground. So then it's a height thing. The kid's got the height on me. Then I'll sit on the ground. And then I'll start playing. And often the kid will come closer. And the ultimate is that the kid comes up and they put their arms around you because they just want to take you home and cuddle you because they feel that there's no threat. There's only goodness coming from you. And to maintain that level of goodness, it's like when they walk through the gates, here you're coming to an iconic place where magic happens. And I'm only facilitating what they want through being open and being present and having the right team. And that couldn't happen if they were greeted at the front gate by someone that didn't like them. So, they've met someone at the front gate, they've come through, but if I get to them at the front gate and I've got them, then I can shift their day by the time they walk through. If they're tired and cranky, or we do what we call the band ride when we walk around them. And they can't escape. Suddenly there's a 5-6 piece band walking around.
They're wrapped in joy.
And no one's ever been on it before and they're filming us and, it's just magic for everyone to watch.
Yeah. The
band ride, and then we just walk off.
There was one day here, you'd finished a shift working the park at Movie World and you and the guys were coming back through the admin building to go get changed. And I asked, would you mind going through the accounts department and just playing? And the accounts department is probably the quieter area of the admin building here at Movie World. And I remember thinking it'd be great just to throw a big splash of...
Just a big of light and colour and sound.
Yes.
Because there's a dB level, isn't there?
Yes.
They've got a limiter.
That's right.
Because a red light goes on if someone drops a paperclip or something.
And you lit that room up.
It was huge.
And again, it was that little moment, but again, the power of music and connection. Just to jump into a side lane for a moment, there's a whole other part of your professional life, which is music. And, I've seen particularly the footage of you playing live and doing the jazzy stuff, and you're performing vocals in between playing the trumpet, and you've got a long history as a professional musician just outside of the parks. What's it like for you having that experience when you come to the park here and you're in amongst an audience, working with them, creating moments? What is the experience then when you're on a stage and it's a captive audience, and they're taking you in at a whole other level?
And how do
Yep.
you get a read on them? Because you're not in amongst them, you're playing, I guess, at them, and they've come with a certain expectation, and they're coming there just for the music. Is that a different part of your brain and your soul that has to connect then?
It's almost, it's very similar. It's that same message of making everyone in the room feel good, or feeling that they're accepted, wanted, valued, cherished, and this is the best show they've ever seen.
How do you do that? How do you do all of that through performance and music? How do you achieve
Have an
that?
amazing team
Yeah.
around you. Always playing a better cricket team. Always have people around that value, have similar values. And sometimes it doesn't always work that way. Other people come with other agendas, but have that feeling, whether it means you get the guys a drink or make them feel valued, and their input is everything. So, and then feature everyone in your band. Don't be that guy at the front, there's so many stories happening musically on that, and get a gauge of what the audience like. And then I was taught that Frank Sinatra would play 3 songs in, and then he'd talk to the audience. But until then, it was just about the music. So you've got a chance to hook them, to really play the best. And sometimes in those 3 songs, if I stick to that formula, I'm done. Like, I could have just given everything up, and I've got 2 hours to go. I'm like,
Right.
oh, I've chopped out. However, okay, think about. It's hard because you're playing and singing to the best of your ability, but that might be it. That's all the fuel you got in the tank.
Yeah.
So how do you then regroup? And it's like trying to maybe look at the audience, but not try to catch their eye too much, but get a feeling when you're setting up.
As a collective consciousness.
Yeah, there's an energy happening in that room, and it can be dictated by the coffee machine going on, or someone calling out the meals. You've got all these funny things you can turn into. You might go, hang on a second, let's just listen to the coffee machine again. All right, let's start the groove on that. You can turn that into something humorous. Or who's having a birthday, anniversaries. Or you just go, which is the biggest, it's like you're being totally nude. What's your favourite song? Who's got a favourite song? And then you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
You are so vulnerable.
Because that can go in any direction.
And they can hit you with the song that, and it's happened with a few songs that I haven't learnt. They're always me meaning to learn.
Yeah.
And whether they're reading my mind or the vibe, they call that song.
Wow.
I'm like, well, I'm not going to play the version that you really love.
Perfect.
My version's really going to change it. How about, and then by that stage, someone else has piped up. And then once they're active and they're talking,
Yeah.
or sometimes I'll walk out in the audience, and we might do like a New Orleans sort of vibe. We walk through the audience. So we create this energy field happening. And I guess it's that sacredness of being, in my mind, in my energy that I'm sending out, this is the best show they'll ever see. Nothing else matters except here and now. Which brings me back to being present. Which means you have to switch off what happened to you that day.
Yeah.
Whatever's going through your mind, whatever's hurting you,
Whatever
whatever's
hardships.
niggling you. And then if you're playing a love song, it's a love song. So whether people are thinking about unrequited love, I don't know what everyone's thinking about in the audience. But if I can tap into this, if I can let them feel like they're safe, they can be themselves around me for the 2 or 3 hours. When they walk through the theme park gates, they can be themselves. They can have a domestic and do that. But however, if I'm in a position to help steer that and play that, once in the daytime activation, we played Happy Birthday, I think it's like 17 times in a run. Just with people sitting in Main Street from all different nationalities. And it just went from one place because their main day was celebrated with live music, and that's why they came to Movie World. To have a birthday. Or they might come to a gig, have an anniversary. What was your anniversary song? And that's another naked moment. Oh, Beyonce's, Crazy in Love. If you've got the right guys behind you, go D minor, 2, 3, and do,
Right.
do, 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 do. Now it's not going to sound the same, but then I start going, oh.
So crazy right now.
Oh, my phone, I'm crazy right now. I do this Beyonce thing, I pop my cheek. Anyway, I do this really bad hit, but it makes them laugh to think, he tried.
Yeah.
But then you get into something else, you go into something else, and you might like this tune. Or I'm going to feature this guy. Have you met such and such? He's incredible. So I divert the energy.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I've validated this beast of a musician on stage, and he or she will tell
Tears
the story.
it up. All right.
Drum solo. Oh, bass solo. Let's everyone talk. Everyone talks over a bass solo, but no one does, because the bass player's feeling validated. So you turn into more of a show, but then it's bringing your highs and lows, and then you want to get back to sing in the wee small hours of the morning, you know, just this, and then you disappear in that morning where you are heartbroken and sad, and they can feel that, yes, I have lived, I have loved, I have lost to be here. It's not all about winning, I've lost. And I'm going to share, I'm going to be vulnerable with you.
Is music for you everything that we're describing it is for other people? Because it seems like you couldn't do what you do the way that you do it with the authenticity that you give it if it wasn't all those things for you as well. So has it been it's been a comforter, it's been an adrenaline fueler.
Yep.
It's done all those things, right?
It's connected me to every part of the music business. I think from high end to, like, you know, to maybe, you know, everything from playing with a group of school kids and then standing back and letting the school kids shine as a teacher. And people say, what do you love about teaching? And I say, I love turning lights on or showing someone where the light switch is. It's not my light, it's their light. Do they get it? Do they feel it? Do they feel validated? Do they feel like they're playing a beginner band piece, but it was the best time they ever played music? Did I let that kid go and play the drums? Yeah, I did. Did I get in trouble for it? Yeah, I did. But the kid loved it.
Yeah.
And that was the whole idea. I'm there to teach music and share music.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's everything for me. I look at that. I think everything I would want someone to feel from music, I'm feeling myself.
Yeah.
And I have empathy. I understand what it's like to go to a theme park with kids and things haven't worked out as well as they could have worked out.
Might have been a tough trip coming down with traffic.
2 hours in the car with the kids, and you know, and everyone's coming from work and something happened, the tickets didn't print out, and they come through and they're confused and they're dazed. Welcome, you're here now.
Yeah.
It's just, they need to be reminded sometimes, it's just, hi, you're here now. Even if they don't want to hear the music, the kids might be a little bit scared or, you know, stand off, but it's that, hi, you're here. Welcome, here it is.
But you have to do the same thing too, right? Because you've got to get to a place where you could be having your own hardships and your drama
Constantly
but
at
the
times.
second you're dressing up as a toy soldier and marching down Main Street of movie world,
nothing else exists.
nothing else can exist, or it's in the way of...
Oh, it'd block the energy flow.
Yeah.
And that could mean, you know, we're about to start the White Christmas Parade, and kids run across in front of you. It could be a, you know, a serious moment. There's a runner.
Yeah.
Or there's a dad with, you know, his ice cream struggling to get across to his, you know, he's just not making the moment. However, you got to be watching, aware of that, and help that moment that he doesn't feel less than. Sure, he's run across at the wrong time. Okay, yeah, but no one's going to get hurt here. We're all part of that experience, and so you can almost help. I can't think of how many times I've opened that, you know, the little back holding gate and let a dad or mum through with the, you know, the family going, oh, I just want to see the parade. Yeah, come around here, there's a spot here for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, why don't you sit here, because the parade's going to start in a few minutes. I reckon if you sat here, you'd see amazing. And if you sit on your dad's shoulders, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah,
And
great.
you're going to watch people come out and come back. I'd stay here. And they feel that empathy that you were thinking of them.
Yeah.
I'm not just, yeah, it's a job, but it's not just, it's so much deeper.
Yeah.
So, you know, at times when I go home, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I feel like I've tapped into this universal energy. And I think my favourite thing is people who are marginalised, who may not be able to communicate with me verbally, but only through their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Might be in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
How do I create that same feeling I'm having for them? Does it mean it's that connection? And that doesn't always work, but they feel.
How do you know when it is working? What signals do you get in a situation like that where you feel, there we are, there's a connective tissue between us here now, coming through
when
performance?
When a boy's got like leg braces on,
Yeah.
he's in a wheelchair, he's non-moving, and he goes to put his hand on the wheelchair. His dad's got his back, and he's motioning that he wants up,
Mm-hmm.
and his dad's supporting his back up there, and
Beautiful.
he starts walking.
Yeah.
He's not totally incapacitated, but he just wanted to be connected to that. And then he has your arm
Yeah.
in a vice-like grip.
Yeah.
So that means I've taught, you know, you can play one-handed, smile and wave, boys, because there's no point. I've got the trumpet in one hand here, and the hat's off.
Yes.
The hat's on him.
Great.
The focus is not on me.
Yeah.
the focus is on this young man that's enjoying this. Like, it is the best gig ever.
Yeah.
And his family are with him, and there's that energy, and he's just happy.
Yeah.
And other people sitting back watching are happy watching him being happy, and the happiness permeates through. You know, you walk into a venue, you know, you walk into a club or whatever it may be, and there's an energy, and you go, no, I'm not, well, I probably won't stay here for a drink or something. I'll just go. It's a different vibe. People aren't there for a good time. They're there to celebrate darkness or sadness together.
Palpable, yeah.
But in a theme park, you know, this is the business of bringing, you know, we've got like 10,000 people coming in that don't know each other.
Yeah.
Whoa. We're all the same. So what's my job in driving that? And I've only got a limited time to do that in, so I've got to be on my game. But once again, the team around you has to be on their game. And they feel that. They feel and they feel the empathy. And it's not about them. We're just facilitators for that energy role. I had a young lady at SeaWorld who had no ability, I couldn't see ability to grab on, couldn't use words. And I got close, and I said, "It's okay if I get a little bit closer?" And her carer said, "Yeah, it's great. She loves the music." Because sometimes I might misread loving a sound for loving the music, or actually going, "Please, that's killing me. Go home and practice or something," you know. And she hooked her hand in my trumpet, so my trumpet is right near her face.
Right.
And I'm playing, which it could be dangerous if she moved her hand too much. That could knock my teeth out. Well, I have to trust in the moment and go, I've got two choices: be that scared guy and go, pull the trumpet back, or just give her everything. Or then pull the trumpet away and sing.
Yeah.
And she could feel, she wanted to feel and it wasn't, she didn't want the singing. Oh, the singing's not that bad. Yeah. Or maybe it is. And then she could hear the vibration coming through the metal and the trumpet.
Right.
And that was it. And that lasted 10, 15 minutes. That was during Carnival. And once again, that impact for her carer to see her client impacted that way through the music.
Yeah.
I think I gave her a set of my beads. Nothing surpassed that feeling.
Yeah.
Went over. There was no run time. There was no, you know, like a marching parade or a plane could have landed around us. You know, there was nothing else but this. Where you meet a guest and then you find them and you bring them up in their wheelchairs and they're walking with you. You have a team strong enough to carry what's going on, and you can drop off and find that moment. And often you bring them, put them in the parade with you in your little run.
Yes.
And then it might be, it's not unsafe because you wear your safety boundaries, but it extends, it makes it bigger than it is. I don't know.
I remember one of the first times we booked you here years ago for Carnival, which obviously is it was at Movie World at the time, and it was the big, you know, New Orleans Mardi Gras type event, the first big year. And I remember talking to you, you may not remember the conversation, but I remember talking to you about what it was and describing it. And I remember you to paraphrase saying, yeah, look, leave it with me. I know what you're after. I'll put together a troop of guys and girls that will have that mindset, that will understand that it's about being present and it's about being able to create moments and can flow through the park. It's not about fixed stage performance. And I wouldn't have thought of those things. I remember just listening to you thinking, oh, okay, well, I guess so. I mean, I didn't know. It's not a world I live in. And you've said it a couple of times today, is that it's very important you make sure you've got the right kind of people around you, similar values.
Absolutely.
Have got their musical chops, but beyond that have also got this ability to be intuitive.
Yeah.
And see, oh, there's a moment happening and he's going to take it somewhere. And my job is to sit alongside him.
Yeah.
And see if I can take it there with him. That obviously takes a particular kind of person and a particular kind of musician. You seem to be blessed that you've got more of those people around you than not.
Yeah, I'm very blessed. I think, you know, I look at my diary and my calendar. Someone said to me once, if you book a bunch of band leaders, really good band leaders, you don't have to worry about anything. So everyone in the group, and it's like you can only be on one gig at a time. So if you're not there, how does it look? So I always imagine what it looks like if I'm not there. Not that I find it very hard to take a day off, but if I'm not there, what does it look like? And it looks beautiful because they get it. They know what's expected, and it's a natural occurring phenomenon for them. So if we're out in the street and there's 4 or 5 of us, if someone's got a run on something and the photograph's happening, we might all split up and there's 5 of us playing Happy Birthday, Jingle Bells. Suddenly we've just morphed into what are molecules of our entertainment, but it's permeating further. So there's 5 scenarios happening, and then we'll come back together again. Or we go and support each other. There's no like, oh, I've got this is my birthday chant.
Yeah.
No. Egoless.
Yes.
And then suddenly there's a group of kids playing the drums that have never played a drum before. And I think that was actually one of the guest compliments, that the dad's watching his daughter play the drums.
Yes, that came through. Yeah.
And that facilitated, she's hitting them. I mean, she hit them a bit louder than they needed to be, but she was so in the zone. Yeah. And then I think maybe the hat went on, and that lasted, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And we all facilitated, moved that, let it breathe, and let her energy focused into her. And then the family, and then the smile of the dad of going, wow, I didn't expect this when I walked. I think, so that's maybe it too. I didn't expect that to happen when I came here.
Yeah.
And that one person that goes, it permeates, that tells someone the best advertising is word of mouth.
Yeah.
You've got to go to Move Road for your birthday. You've got to look for the band. Come look for us next year.
You said a great thing there, and I wanted to use that word before with you. And I think it's a powerful thing because a lot of performers wrestle with it. And that is the idea of being egoless. And I don't know what you think. For me, I think the best performers understand they've got their craft working so well for them, they can get out of their own way and let the craft through and take ego out.
Yeah.
And then it's a real potent performance, whether it's acting, whether it's musical performance, whether it's singing, whatever it is. It's always more impressive when you see someone free of themselves giving you their craft than it is to see someone conscious of themselves showing you their craft and wanting you to see their work. Do you know what I mean? And here's what I've learned. Watch me. And I'm really good at this. Rather than, I'm good at this, but I'm also aware that it's not about me. So I'm going to throw away my self-consciousness and just give you this. And I think it's an unspoken kind of transaction that happens with a performer and an audience, where the audience intuitively responds with more emotion.
Absolutely.
When you're less aware and you can move your ego over to one place.
I think you only need, I don't know where you need, I mean, look, to be egoless is a beautiful state of mind. The creative flow is huge, I think, in that egoless state of mind.
How did you become aware of that in your journey as a performer? How did you begin to understand that? Because I imagine not everyone is able to get that idea, but how do you transcend self in order to let the best parts of you out, do you think?
Learn to love the best parts of you.
Right.
Learn to love the parts that aren't so good about you.
Yeah.
And learn to accept that. So I think you've got acceptance. You've got a key to the gate. You've got to the door, and then I don't think it's enough. It's that constant practice, but also being put in your place. From older performers that have come through, working with performers that have jumped out in and out of choppers playing for troops in Vietnam. And the conditions they worked under, what's going to work, there's no sound system. So you have to make it work through a loud halo, but it's the energy of what you're creating and listening and watching. I really enjoyed working with Jerry Lewis. Just the way he drove an audience and how he was so switched on, almost beyond what was happening.
When was this?
When he played the casino.
Okay.
So maybe 17, 18, maybe 20 years ago. He did 2 tours.
What was the lesson for you that came out of that experience?
The coolness he had. And the fun, but the funny, but the slickness. And the way he treated everybody. Right. Now, I'm not saying he let some people have it. Sure. Like, wow. However, that's part of as those people explained to me, that's part of what happens in this particular show. With the audience, the graciousness of this heavyweight comedian, the last one, like the Rat Pack sort of vibe.
Iconic, yeah.
Yeah, one of those legends is driving this, and you felt so important playing one of the 4 trumpets, one of this 30-piece orchestra. Your part was just as valued. and the way he treated the Brisbane Convention Centre, long rehearsal, we had to come back for a show that night. Rehearsal, he just stops it because it's going on long, technical issues, his teleprompter thing. The band's cooking, everyone can read, everyone knows what to do, the MD's great. Right, who's hungry? Turns to the orchestra. Who asked the orchestra? Of course we're hungry, musicians, you know. Who's hungry? You have meat pies in Australia? Turns to the person standing in the convention centre. I'd like 50 meat pies, please, and we need some soft. I guess we need soft. Okay, I need soft drinks, and I need ice cream, and I need this. Will you organise this for me? Done. And then, as we're finishing the rehearsal, they're wheeling down meat pies, soft drinks, and we had a break to have a meat pie and a soft drink.
Great.
Because Jerry said so.
Yeah.
You're hungry? Of course I'm hungry for meat pie. Then afterwards, we're sitting, myself and another trumpet player sit in the audience. Everyone goes. It's just Jerry on stage with his MD on the piano.
When you say MD, musical director?
Yes, a musical. So, and it's not either piano player or guitarist. Heavyweight piano player from America, sitting there touching on the piano, and another trumpet player of mine. We find some ice creams. There's a whole great big tub of cornetto. I've never seen that many cornettos before. I'm like, oh, that sounds good.
We should mention Cornetto's not a sponsor of this podcast, but we freely give them that plug. Please keep going.
Very much. I don't see that chalk top down the bottom.
There's an ice cream theme of plugging going on with you, I've noticed, but please go on.
Batteries sold separately. They right. What's this ice cream? I make a nice hat. So we grabbed my ice cream. We sat there and sat in the front row, and Jerry calls out and goes, "Hey, what do you want to hear?" Unwrapping this ice cream, going, "Smile." There's only going to think of Charlie Chaplin.
Of course, yeah.
MD moves over on the piano. He plays Smile.
Come on.
And I'm eating a cornetto going, and he's just, "Smile when your heart is breaking." Pring,
He's singing it for you.
and playing.
That's
He
remarkable.
asked me what I thought. I'm looking around there's no one else in this huge theatre in the convention centre
What a
except me
story.
and this guy eating ice cream. And I thought that humility, the gift.
What a story.
Just
Oh,
that,
wow.
I don't thought about it for all these years. That's enough to get to the point of selflessness,
Yeah.
to always aim for that, as we were talking about, how to become a better version of that. There's only so many notes you can play in Happy Birthday,
Yeah.
or in Jingle Bells, or whatever song that may be, or whatever someone asked for. There's a story behind that. So I've got a split second to make that work. I'm not saying that everything doesn't work, but I think I've had a 10 out of 10. If we didn't know the song, we found something.
Yes.
Something happened. The kid piped up, and kicked me in the shins, and went, "Mary had a little lamb," or whatever it may be. Something happened, and that, I guess, you're open to anything that can happen, and you're holding space, but you're giving other people that space to be them.
Beautifully said. Last couple of questions I want to ask you. What continues to get you out of bed and do what you do? Where do you find the drive? What is it that gets you going after all these years?
If I told you, I feel like I've only just begun.
Really?
I feel like I've just clicked over again.
Yeah.
So I need to practice more. I need to be me more. I need to learn more songs. I feel like I have to practice more. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a hurry. I haven't got enough time to practice. Got to go to the gym. Got to do this. Got to sit and meditate. Got to hang. Whoa. Just be present and work it out. Write yourself a list. It's okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like now it's like another insight, and it's more beautiful. And I guess having the whole pandemic thing shifted, just obliterated the diary.
Right.
Just cooked it. So there was like nothing left, and everything you built up over 20, 30 years, gone skis. But I wasn't gone. Who am I amongst this? What values? Where's my value system? So I have to retrain. I did a bit of retrain, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So if I said to you, every gig has become like a sacred experience.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then it's up to me to make it that way. Whether it be
Beautifully
a
said.
wedding,
Yeah.
whether it be a gig in a park, at the theme parks, where there's people, there's a chance for happiness and a connection. And I'm a part of that. I can facilitate that. So when I get up, am I being that person? Am I just pretending when I go to work?
Yeah.
Or am I going to be that dad I want to be? Am I going to be that husband I want to be? Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to make noise about it and celebrate that. rather than look what I lost through the pandemic, what have I gained?
Yeah.
The insight to myself, because the pandemic was quite frightening. I had to go, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then suddenly, we had some work on that Cat King, the Baz Luhrmann film. But then the privilege of watching Baz Luhrmann work and create a scene out of nothing with the lighting and then suddenly the holding space, and then the way he saw it was like, my God, I should have paid him to be on the set. What a gift. And that seemed to really invigorate me of sitting there for 14 hours a day with the mask on.
Yeah, we should just mention quickly, you're referring to being an extra on Baz Luhrmann's Elvis project.
In fact, I think it was an extra. I was like so far back in the scene.
You were an extra's extra.
Yes, I actually filled in for the extra.
Yes.
I wasn't a stunt action extra. I was just the guy that could sit there the longest.
Yeah, you were the guy watching the extras do the moment with the extras in the scene.
As they had their sandwich in the break, I was the guy that took the rubbish to the bin.
You've probably touched on it with where we've gone leading up to this moment, but if you had to look back, and I'm sure there's many, and we've certainly touched some of them, the Jerry Lewis story on its own is incredible. What's one of the proudest moments from a theme park specific perspective when you look back? Is there a moment with real pride that you kind of reflect on, that, a reminder of why you do what you do? Could you pick a moment?
Wowee.
And you may have already touched on a couple.
I feel like there's so many.
Yeah.
There's like every time you check in, some of the most beautiful moments is checking with security, seeing someone walk past you on the way to your dressing space.
Yeah.
Seeing yourself, having a rave, having a catch up, and that leads to someone else, and someone catch up here before I even hit the street. There's an energy happening.
Yes.
And then getting changed and having the banter with the band, and then it suddenly just zeroes in, even the banter to the gate when you get your space together, and it's on. Probably every time you shoot out of the gate, you see that excitement, or you feel the unexpected, what's going to happen. All that tourist who just grabs you and goes, "You're mine, I need a photo with you now." Of course you do. But let's, don't stand so close to me or something. I don't know what it is, I don't know. I'm trying to find a parody there. The highlight, I think it's when you smile at a staff member and they smile back.
Yeah.
Or it might take a while to get that smile and get that lights on. It's not just about the staging lights, it's about the human vibe that's connecting.
There's been many moments when I can hear you arriving from a meeting, because I'll hear a chain of people reacting or laughing, and I know that that's you. You're either coming to the meeting with a packet of biscuits or Tim Tams.
There's something, yes.
And you're giving Tim Tams to the security guard at the
sometimes I've even brought 2 packets, because I had a security guard say once, "Where's my Tim Tams?"
Yeah, it became a thing.
I was devastated.
Yeah.
So then the security guard got Tim Tams next, and it was the wrong security guard.
Yeah.
And I said, "Please give these Tim Tams to the security guard Bob." And then I see security Bob a year later goes, "I didn't get the Tim Tams."
Yeah.
Then I know there's a leak.
But those little triggers you have, I guess they're called joy triggers.
Yeah, joy trigger is a good point.
Little joy trigger that immediately changes the energy of an interaction with somebody. If I had $1 for the number of times I've heard over the years people that work in the business here in the parks who will say to me after they've visited an event where you've been, and I'll hear, "Hey, Mike, I just want to pass on that guy with the trumpet."
Oh, lovely.
that guy. The guy that was doing this. I say, "Oh, that's Mal." Oh, amazing. And again, you've become a bit of an institution here over the years for our own people.
Got my name on the wall. I wrote my name on pen in the toilet.
We saw that.
I tried to get it off with the thing.
I called that number twice.
That number twice? But do you know why that works so well? You know why that energy happens on the street? Because you have a vision.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to fill your pockets, but you have a vision. And that place, that vision needs to be filled. So you drive that energy. So through what you see and what you feel, we're facilitated that. So you help, you drive that energy through me.
I appreciate it.
And the team feel that too. They come in, they feel totally safe around you.
Yeah.
And you walk, you go up and say, "Oh, there's something here," or that. They go, and your staff. It's a very even playing field where everyone's just pushing this energy through.
I think you said it earlier, and it's a similar thing for me too. That whole idea, and it's not my thinking. It's been around for a while from some of the great business leaders that would tell you, the first thing you want to do is be able to hire people that are better than you and put them around you, you know, and
Wow, okay.
get people around you that are better at you in certain things and can do things you can't do, and be smart enough to surround yourself with those people, and then watch great things happen.
And then empower people to be themselves. You have this gift that people go, well, you're either here or you're not. And if you're here, I want that.
Yeah.
And then people know that, and they just do that because that is them. And as you're right, you're only as good as that team.
That's right.
And it's a military principle too.
It is.
You can't take a platoon out if you've got a weak platoon. If no one wants to be there, everyone's on team. And that's a powerful strategy to have in an entertainment, but also within a business module of a theme park. But it's that life experience that people walk away with. Even at, Carnival, family come in, mum and dad are having a quiet drink in the middle section, you know, and the kids are sitting on the wall. They're not happy.
Right.
Teenage, and they're so not happy.
You can see that.
They're not happy with each other, themselves, the world, whatever the vibe's going on.
You can feel that. Yeah.
Mum and dad can't get through this beverage fast enough. Dad's gone back to the bar, gets another couple, and they're just going, Anyway, quick story. They walked up to the couple and said, man, you found the bar. Great call. That's the first thing we do at SeaWorld, okay? Really? Yeah, you found it. Great, you're on tap. Where are you going to go? We don't know. We've just come from Gundawindi. We've never been here before. Never been to SeaWorld. Great, it's even better. You've done the first thing, you've got 2 drinks now. Great. Are they your kids? Do you want them? Not really, but, is it their birthday? No, not till November. Perfect, I'll be back. Hey boys, how you going? What? Yeah, what? They didn't talk like that. Yeah, what do you want? Yeah. So mum and dad say it's your birthday. Yeah. Happy, you just give them a good belt of happy birthday. Happy, clap your hands. The boys suddenly they relax a little bit. Yeah. You can't hurt us. Look, we're wearing Panama hats and floral shirts and deck shoes. Come on. They're cool. Mum and dad are cool watching the kids get embarrassed. They're happy. They scull the drinks. Come on, go. Hey, come on. Where have you been? You seen the stingrays? You got to touch a stingray, and that'll just take all the energy out of you from driving the Gundawindi. It's a dusty drive. Gets rid of the dust. We go up to the stingrays. They feel the stingrays. They're in the hands in the water. Everyone's happy. Boom, 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 boom. And look, you got to get yourself some, play some games, whatever. At the end of the day, they come past. They've got the super slurpy things, bags full of toys. Yeah. They've played the game together. Yes. They're happy. The kids got the furry floss going, kicking me in the shins. Happy I'm not a baby. No, you're not a baby, but you love that song, don't you? Can't be free. They left with everything they needed.
Yeah.
I didn't tell them to buy anything.
No.
But I said, while you're here, just be here.
Isn't it funny? You've had that little moment at the start, the book ends at the end of the day, and it's a little microcosm of the effect that you're having broadly everywhere.
Yeah, and it's powerful.
And
they're happy.
Of course.
They're happy.
They're happy and they know it.
They couldn't clap their hands because of furry floss.
Mate, you are still to this day one of the most open, authentic, and sincere people I've had the pleasure of working with over the years. It's not something that I just know, it's the people that work in the business here know. And it's the thing that the guests that come here and visit us know.
Thank you.
Even without knowing you, because it just radiates out of you.
It's an energy, isn't it? It's
It
beautiful.
is.
And I feel thank you for the time, the gift to be able to share that. Otherwise, I think I don't know what I'd do.
Well, it's our pleasure, and it's been wonderful to sit here and finally capture some of your story on Park Life. So thanks for sitting down.
Love it, man. Thank you.
Talk to you again soon, mate.
Thanks, Mike.
I hope you enjoyed this latest episode. You'll find Park Life on Twitter and me, Michael Croker, on Instagram at Mike_Croker. See you next time.